Some clouds on the way for Thursday, cooling a little more tomorrow with highs 72 to 78. I'm meteorologist Mike Moss in the Weather Center.
Currently at the Big O Country Studios, it's
10:06, and the temperature is 61 degrees.
Medical Arts Pharmacy is your locally owned independent hometown pharmacy. Unlike the big chain stores, Medical Arts Pharmacy calls you by name and treats you like family and friends, not a number. Medical Arts has more National Board certified technicians and personnel than other pharmacies to keep down your waiting time on prescriptions. Online refills at medicalartsofshelby.com. Medical Arts Pharmacy, 108 Grover Street near the hospital in Shelby. Call 704-487-8068.
Your American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning dealer is Bill Shuford Heating and Air in Shelby. And now here are some great deals from American Standard. Get up to $1,100 in rebates on qualifying American Standard systems, or get from 36 to 60-month zero-interest financing on qualified American Standard heating and air conditioning systems. So come on in now to Bill Shuford Heating and Air, 213 Campbell Street in Shelby, your American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning dealer.
If you find the world of prescription medications confusing and complex, know you are in good hands at Smith Drug Store in Gastonia. Their pharmacists are licensed medical professionals who have extensively studied the body and drug therapy. In fact, the person on the other side of the counter may have a master's in pharmacy or have completed a prestigious fellowship. And their top priority, taking care of you. See Smith Drug Store on Main Street in downtown Gastonia.
Good morning. It's time for our Community Profile program for this Wednesday, May 13th, 2015 on WCSL, WLON, and WOHS, and on the World Wide Web at ktcbroadcasting.com. You can also view today's show with our studio camera at ktcbroadcasting.com. This is Milton Baker, and our co-host and executive producer, Sandy Alexander, is still out on leave right now after her little accident there where she fell and still recuperating from a fall at home. But Sandy, we wish you well if you're listening in. Jason Harp is our guest today from the Lincoln County Historical Association. You are the director, is that it?
Director of the Historical Association.
That's your title, Jason. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
Yeah, been seeing you here and there at the Krause History meetings.
Oh, yeah.
And have had you on the radio a few times. And
a lot going on.
A lot going on for you. There's a lot of great local history, Lincoln and Lincoln County history, and one of the biggies is coming up. Now, we're here to talk about the Is it still called the Living History Weekend? Is that the
Yeah,
quote?
we basically call it a number of different things. I mean, we call it Living History Weekend. A lot of people know it as Battle of Ramsar's Mill reenactment. So we, the reenactment is one of the main components of the event. But we have speakers, so we use a lot of different names for the event.
Yeah.
So.
And the reenactment is this weekend. Now, the Battle of Ramsar's Mill was actually in June, but it's in the month of May that you do the reenactment and the all the events.
We've had the battle reenactment has taken place for many years, actually. I think since the 90s when Daryl Harkey used to, actually Daryl started the event, and up until about 2 or 3 years ago, it was in June. But the problem we were facing was that it was so unbelievably hot in June that our reenactor said, "Man, this is really it's really tough."
The real men and women and children back in the day, they had no say so whether it was hot or not. But
they couldn't jump inside a house and get some air conditioning. So.
Here in 2015, we can move it up to a cooler.
Yeah, we're a little bit.
Maybe
we're a little spoiled, man.
Yeah, well, that's okay. It is quite an event. I've been out there before to the reenactment site and spent some time out there during the weekends in the past. It's kind of a counting Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday, kind of a 3-day event. Let's tell everybody who's not familiar. The Battle of Ramsar's Mill was what year?
Was took place on June 20, 1780.
1780.
And in a nutshell, two men, John Moore and Nicholas Welch, who were local Lincoln County natives, had already decided to fight for the British as loyalists, and they came back to the area in June and began recruiting people locally to fight for the British. And their recruitment had resulted in a large group of men, close to 1,000 men over at the site, where there were a number of things at the site at that time. There was the home place of Christian Reinhardt, where when you go over to the site now, you'll see a few log buildings that are really supposed to depict Christian Reinhardt's home place. And also you had Jacob Ramsar's Mill, the namesake of the battle. And so some patriots found out what was going on and decided on the morning of daybreak on June 20 to come and dissolve this group, and the battle ensued. And about 2 hours later, the patriots had kind of been victorious, and there were a lot of men who died at the battle that day. And another thing about the site is there are a number of burial sites actually on the overall battle site. There's a site we call the Whig Captain's Grave. John Martin Shuford's buried there, and also a mass grave. So that's in essence what took place at the battle that day. So what we try to reenact that day in the space that we have is the actual reenactment itself.
Now, yesterday at the Krause History meeting, Ramona was before the meeting started. She was telling everybody about she had the flyer that was telling everybody and was telling everybody about the reenactment weekend, and we were discussing it some. And one thing I learned that I had never thought of really was it was pointed out that at the Battle of Ramsar's Mill, there were actually no British soldiers. It was all
local. Well, when I say local, there were Lincoln County folks, folks who the patriots who came to dissolve the recruitment effort locally at the site were Rowan, Mecklenburg, and Iredell. But in essence, it was local people, either loyalist or patriot, and there were no British there at that time.
Yeah.
So.
And I guess, as it's always been said, there was neighbor against neighbor, brother against brother in some cases. Was that the case at this?
Exactly. I mean, you can only imagine how difficult that was at that time, such a monumental time period in our nation's history that pitted brother or neighbor against neighbor and families. It's really difficult.
And descendants of both the loyalists and the patriots still live and
come to the event. It's really interesting to be there doing what we do for the event and have people come who've traced their ancestors back to or one of their ancestors fought at the battle, whether whether they fought on the side of the British or as patriots. It's always exciting when people come from even local people and people from out of town who are excited that they've determine who their ancestor was and that their ancestors are, and that they had an ancestor who fought in the battle. It's really you can see in them a level of excitement just to be on the grounds is really exciting for them. So it's always exciting for us.
And it's always mentioned. It was such a pivotal or important battle in the Revolutionary War and in the fight for freedom for the new country. Why was that so?
Well, by the summer of 1780, after some decisive victories for the British in Georgia and South Carolina, Cornwallis and the British turned their attention to North Carolina and began moving and chasing Nathaniel Greene. These battles like the Battle of Ramsar's Mill, or specifically Ramsar's Mill, began to quell that local sentiment towards British loyalists. And as the war continued, quelling that sentiment locally led to battles at Kings Mountain and eventually at Yorktown. So it kind of slowed down that British support that was stronger at another period in time.
Yeah. All right. So I think you think of the Revolutionary War and you think of Boston and Paul Revere and all that, but it was so many important battles fought here in the South too.
Yeah, and we locally and people on the state level talk about recognition for battles like Ramsar's Mill, and it is difficult to try to get into what kids are studying, and it is difficult because they have certain parameters and time to study so many major battles, if you will, like Yorktown and battles up north, that we try to get into that mix, the importance of Ramsar's Mill, and it's right in our hometown. It took place here, and that's important. It's really important. It's not just like it took place in another state that's close by. It actually took place here. We had a battle here,
and to have this reenactment weekend, which is it's free to come on out and take a tour of the log cabins and the grounds and everything. The reenactors will have camp set up and all that. Now there are a few things you can pay for.
Yeah, sure.
And a couple of those things. The Ghost Walk, which we'll talk about. You can buy something to eat.
You can
while
buy
you're
food.
there. Yeah, and some of the reenactors they'll have some things for sale.
Yeah, and another thing we've tried to do over the years that it's actually right up front, we try to make people understand is when you get to the event, the reenactment will take place in the afternoons of Saturday and Sunday, but the reenactors, you can go into their camps. That's what we want to encourage people to do, is you don't just show up and we're going to hang around until the reenactment. No, we want you to go and the reenactors want you to engage them. They want to tell you about the muskets. They want to tell you about what life was like at the time period. And some of the reenactors make goods like knives and things like that, or some lanterns, period items that they actually sell, so that you can actually bring a little cash along with you and take something really neat home with you.
And the reenactors do some women and children actually still come, because back in the day, the families, it was safer to go with the men folk than stay by themselves wherever they may have been in the wilderness.
Well, we're lucky that a number of our reenactors make these types of events a family affair, which is great. They'll bring their wives, their kids. We've got some great photographs from years past of kids coming and getting the wood that they that we provide wood for them that they use in their camps for fires, and to see the kids dressed in period attire and participating in it with their moms and dads is really, really neat. And you can see kids that attend the event see these kids who are participating in the event, and it's really good. And we always hope that there's a few kids out there who will be interested enough to talk to their parents and maybe be interested in the future in being a reenactor. So, but it's great to see the families that come as a unit to participate.
And this, like I said, this has been going on. This reenactment weekend has been going on a good while, and there are some young folks who are now. I know one particular person. I won't mention names, but one particular young man who's now grown and has children of his own. But he was, as a young teenager, he was taking part in the reenactment weekend. Yeah.
I had forgotten until just the other day, maybe the same person that you're talking about. He mentioned 18 years. And I thought, well, it'd really been that long. As I mentioned, when Daryl Harkey started the event, it was in the 90s, that just dawned on me. We've been doing it for that long. It's just, it's great. I mean, and I think, we have people coming back who have been to the event in years past, but we also have new people who are coming just to, really see what's going on, what's involved. And another thing that we try to do that we hope not to lose sight of as we're planning and thinking about the reenactment is actually talking to people about the battle itself throughout the day. And so, a couple years back, we started doing the battle site tour. So we take people around all of the various, we call them historic resources, if you will, the log buildings, the various burial sites where the Ramser's Mill itself was located. So I think people get a lot out of taking the tour, so it acclimates them to where, they know it's over. Some people say, well, it's located over there near Lincolnton High School. Well, we're able to show them where the various things are. And another place that I'll mention that's important is the Gaitherstrom Park that's there. Gaitherstrom was very important to history in Lincoln County for many years. And a lot of people that I meet on a monthly, yearly basis remember Gaither either teaching, providing some instruction in their classroom or doing tours around the county. And Ramser's Mill was one of those sites. So there is an area that's devoted to the memory of Gaitherstrom and what he did, and it's called the Gaitherstrom Park.
Great. Well, you mentioned Daryl Harkey, and we mentioned Dan Barefoot. Now, Dan is going to do the Ghost Walk,
Yes.
lead the Ghost Walk with information and so forth. Explain, that's Friday and Saturday nights. What's the Ghost Walk?
The Ghost Walks, Daryl did the Ghost Walks a number when he was doing the event, and we didn't do them for a few years. And after talking to some people who were coming to the event, say, hey, I remember coming over here and being a part of this Ghost Walk. Are you all going to do it? And so we talked to Dan, who is the most logical person to do it, because Dan is so unbelievable in so many ways in regards to not only his knowledge of the battle, but also his presentation is so great, and how he's able to convey the importance of the battle. So anyway, we talked to Dan, and he said, let's do this. Let's do it. It sounds great. And we were extremely surprised 3 years ago when we decided to do it, just the number of people who wanted to be a part of it. And I think they really, being that it is dark and we have lanterns along the course that you take with Dan to each one of the historic resources, and Dan talks about the battle and puts the battle in a broader context of the Revolutionary War as a whole, and then in North Carolina. And that takes place Friday night and Saturday. So that will be this Friday night and this Saturday night. The tickets are $5, so we try to keep that pretty manageable. And you can get the tickets from my office before the night's Ghost Walk, or you can show up that night and get a ticket as well.
Okay. And is there a limited number of tickets? Or?
No, we keep it open. We really do. We don't want to. We haven't gotten to a place yet where the volume is so large that we have to limit it. Okay. And also, I'll let people know, the folks who may be coming, we will provide bug spray.
Okay.
Because it does get a little. There will be some bugs there as we walk a part of the trail near Clark's Creek. So we will provide that for folks as well.
I would be glad to hear that. The way they devour me this time of year. What about the terrain itself? Is it pretty rough walking?
It's not really rough. It's just it's a long walk. So we do what we do is we do take around a golf cart with us, and I tell people in the beginning that if at any point during this walk you decide that you no longer want to walk anymore, we can, you can flag us and we'll take you back to your cars or take you back to the log building where the tour or the walk starts, and you can wait on your group to come back. Yeah. Just wear comfortable shoes. Don't wear open-toed shoes. Don't wear like flip-flops or sandals. It's just it's a better move to wear something that's a little more comfortable, a little trail shoes, things like that. So, but it's not rough terrain. It's just it's a long walk.
Okay. So that Ghost Walk is Friday and Saturday night. Do you expect to see any ghosts along the way?
You never know. You never know what might happen.
Yeah, and then on Sunday, I know the event continues on into Sunday.
Yeah, we have. We're fortunate to have on Saturday. Dan Barefoot's going to speak as well on Saturday. As we move right before we move into the tactical presentation and the reenactment, Dan will speak about right near the main log building about Ramser's Mill and the importance of the of the battle right as the reenactment starts. So it always provides a great crescendo to the battle. And we'll also have another speaker, Scott Seifert, an attorney from Charlotte, who's going to talk about a book that he's written about the Mecklenburg Declaration of Independence. So we try to bring in new speakers every year that are Revolutionary War related. So we're going to do both of those on Saturday. And also, again, we will have battle site tours. We will have something that we've done in the past that I don't know that a lot of people really know that we do it, but we take really good care of our reenactors, feed them well.
Yeah.
And also on Saturday night, we have a guy named Fiddlin' Fred. Well, it's Fiddlin' Fred and Mary Lale. They come and play some great music for the reenactors on Saturday night at, I think it's right at 5 o'clock. So, usually our people who had come to the event are usually gone by then. And we've always just provided this music for the reenactors, but folks can come and enjoy the music that they provide for the reenactors as well. So, that's open to folks to come. And then at 6:30, we do something called a Fourth Wall program where people can go into the camps and the reenactors it's like a first-person account of the battle where the reenactors don't really, they're talking as if they're in their camps after the battle took place. So it's really interesting to do. And then at 8:30 is the Ghost Walk. And then on Sunday, throughout the day, we have battle site tours. We have the reenactment as well.
Okay. All right. So on Friday night, does it anything before the Ghost Walk on Friday night?
No, Friday night's just strictly the Ghost Walk at 8:30.
Okay, Ghost Walk at 8:30. Saturday, what time does things start opening?
Camp opens at 10 o'clock. So when we open the camp, that's basically letting everyone know that the reenactors are up and ready for people to come and engage them.
And Sunday?
Same time. Opens at 10 o'clock.
Okay.
Camp opens.
And tell the folks where all this takes place.
This takes place at 301 Jeb Siegel Road, which is the road that you take to get to Lincolnton High School's football field. So you can, if you're a person who uses GPS, you can GPS 301 Jeb Siegel Road. If you're coming from downtown Lincoln, take North Aspen Street to Lincolnton High School, follow the signs. Yeah. It will get you there, and you'll see signs for parking. You'll see, if you want to come to the Ghost Walk, we'll have signs for the Ghost Walk. We'll have signs for everyone to see so that you can get you to the right direction. And you can also call us as well if you've got questions. I'm making my cell phone available for people who just, we could forward the calls from the office, but I'm making my cell phone available for people to call if they have questions, can't find it. If you don't get me, leave me a message. I'll call you right back.
There you go. There you go. And so folks who are coming out, is there parking? I know it used
parking
to be,
is free.
Yeah, free parking. But they used to park down around the practice football field.
It is on the practice field.
And do you still shuttle folks? Do you have the?
Yeah, we can. We're going to be able to. Folks just need to make us aware that they need a little help getting to the main area. And then what we've done as well is at the practice field, there's a little gravel access to a trail that will walk you up to that will lead you up to the log buildings, where in the past you'd had to walk up a really steep hill. But we're, in essence, when people park, we're funneling them through one location so we can do a better job of determining how many people are coming and trying to get them to sign in a guest register and let us know where they're from and how we could contact them in the future. And if they have any research interest, we'd like to know if you're coming to the event. If your ancestor fought at the battle, we'd love to know. We'd really like to know.
Absolutely. And would it be appropriate if anyone wanted to bring a chair to sit on?
Oh, yeah, please do.
Please
do, because we do have some seating in the shaded area where Dan and Scott will be speaking. And we also, the area there is a hill that people can, and if you want to bring a blanket and sit, we've already gotten rid of all the fire ants. So
okay, good deal.
Yeah, good deal. So we did that, and we're also going to be spraying for mosquitoes. So it should, we've from doing this for a number of years, we now know what to expect. And so anyway, but yeah, feel free to bring a chair and sit all day.
And the Historical Association and
the Historic Properties Commission.
Putting all this together, and I'm sure you have a lot of
volunteers. Yeah, I mean, we're so indebted to all of our volunteers. It's great, and I think it is a lot of work and it is warm, but they just enjoy the public. I mean, it's always good to hear from the public. We want to know. I mean, this is not our event. This is everyone's event, and we want to know what people think and how we can make it better. want to get people on our mailing list, send them material, and we invite comments. That's what we want.
All right. And you mentioned something that took place back in the 50s, I believe. You
Yeah,
said?
we're really excited to be moving in the direction, not abandoning the reenactment by any means, but Thunder Over Carolina was an outdoor drama that was performed in 1955 and 1956, and it was an outdoor drama based on the Battle of Ramsar's Mill. For a number of years, our volunteers, our staff, and a number of folks have said, how great it would be to revive that Thunder Over Carolina outdoor production or outdoor drama, and we're doing that. We have at the museum the original script. We have a lot of the original material, and we have someone locally who has started recrafting the script, and we are at this point looking at maybe a date in 2016 of a Thunder Over Carolina production. So there's a lot of planning that's involved. Our history folks don't have a lot of experience with outdoor drama, so we're making sure we get the key people involved, and I think the community will love it.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be a great thing. So we're moving in that direction. Anybody who's interested in talking with me about it, we'd love to hear your input, and if you're interested in getting involved.
All right. Jason Harp, again, our guest today, Director of Lincoln County Historical Association. On the internet website, anyone can go to?
Yeah, you can go to ramsarsmill.org, and you can also email us. It's pretty simple, LCMH for Lincoln County Museum of History. So it's lcmh@bellsouth.net, and phone number 704-748-9090. If you call, leave a message. We really need you to leave a message if you call, so we know that you called, and we'll call you back as soon as possible.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
That's it, Milton.
Okay. Well, appreciate you coming in and talking with us about the reenactment weekend. Now, the actual battle itself took place
June
June 20th. And next month, Daryl and Dan are coming in to discuss we wanted to talk a lot about today about the reenactment weekend. They're going to be here in June to talk about everything related to the history of the Battle of Ramsar's Mill. Dan Barefoot gave an excellent presentation at our Krause History meeting some months ago, and he can really fill in the folks on
unbelievable resource.
Just what led up to the battle and the aftermath and so forth as well. So it's good that everybody, it's all tied in.
Yes,
for sure. One group works with another there. All right, so folks, we again encourage you to check it out this weekend.
Come see us
in Lincoln. The Battle of Ramsar's Mill reenactment. You'll Jason said, you'll see signs up. You'll see the silhouettes of the soldier all around town. There's one on the court square and everything. So
kind of the trademark now.
Yeah, it is. It sure is. Thank you so much for coming in today. Thank you, folks, for listening in. And tomorrow we have a special Thursday. We usually don't do community profile on Thursday, but we have a special Thursday community profile for you tomorrow. Going to nail down the specifics on that and who's going to be here from the Cherville Little Theater. They're doing Charlotte's Web, and we'll have a special program tomorrow on that, as I believe that production's coming up this weekend as well. So a lot to do.
There's a lot going on.
As our friend from Shelby, Jackie Sibley Newton, says, that you can't ever say there's nothing to do around here.
That's right.
Plenty to do. All right. We'll see you next time, folks.